Okay.
With the gold lips, baby, that ain't 1994.
We're on air, niece. You gonna tell me when to go? Oh, I see the chat. Hello, I am Money Michelle back once again with College Cash. Remember, this is the podcast / Zoom / YouTube / all of the above, but we're all about keeping cash in your pocket throughout your educational path. Now, as Money Michelle, it is my job simply to navigate you to nuggets of information, hopefully worth thousands of dollars. I'm sure you see in my background that nice little TSU glare that I have going on. We're actually coming to you live from Tennessee State University. It is homecoming. Now, next year, we're going to be out and about in the midst of homecoming once I figure out my mic situation. But this year, we are in a nice secluded environment, super quiet and cozy, so that we can get down to business. Now, the business at hand is all about scholarships. Today, we're going to be featuring the agricultural scholarship, but not necessarily from the department itself, but more so from a couple of my buddies. One of them happens to be my best friend from high school. We've actually known each other since we were 14 years old. Not saying that we're getting old, but I'm just giving you background information. And I have her son on with us as well, Mr. Aiden. So let's go ahead and get this party started. Coming up throughout the show, I will let you know, though, we will be talking to a professor from the aviation department. So that'll be a little while on. And then, of course, we're going to hit the Levi Watkins department. If, of course, my son signs on. I don't know. It's homecoming, so there's no telling what might happen. And towards the end, I always want to be able to give you that track of how to get started, exactly what you need to do when you are applying to college. This is the college application season, I call it. Right now, really, is crunch time. So we will always make sure for the next couple of shows that we give you just the one by one, step by step of exactly what you should be doing in this time frame. Quick thing, though, I need to mention, again, as usual, Money Michelle is a mom. Everything on this show is my opinion and an opportunity for you to simply do your own research. And speaking of some research, last show, I mentioned the SSAR. I want to clarify the SSAR is for FSU because we talked about FAMU and FSU. FAMU does not need the SSAR. FSU does need the SSAR. And if you're wondering what on earth is the SSAR, don't worry about it right now, unless you're applying to FSU. If you're applying to FSU, remember that very important deadline is tomorrow. So hopefully you've already gotten pretty much well through it, because the only thing I could save you with is that you still need to match your SSAR to your FSU account. Trust me, unless you're applying to FSU, you really don't need to worry about that for this moment. All righty. Miss Nisi, where are you? I see her letter. All right, Nisi, can you say hi to everybody? Oh, and we're on a Zoom. So if you're wondering about the technicalities of all this, we're going to just roll with it. That's the reason why it's College Cash, Money Michelle. Nothing official here, just a mom giving out information. And there's my Nisi. How are you doing today?
I am good, present and accounted for, living the dream in Missouri City, Texas.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, Nisi, I have a lot of questions for you because we were actually, there's so many things that we've done together. Literally, we've known each other since we're 14. But this is a show about scholarships. And I know that you were able to get your son a scholarship here to Tennessee State University. My first question is about the plan, because there's so many listeners out there, they don't have a plan. And we all know that when our sons turn 17, 18, sometimes our plans and their plans may not necessarily align. So Nisi, I'll let you take it away and tell me all about your plan with Mr. Aiden and how that worked out his senior year.
So as Aiden was, so we have to give COVID a little bit of grace because COVID was, it came through during 2020 in his junior year. So there were a lot of things in regard to preparing for his college time that sort of fell by the wayside because of the global pandemic that was occurring at that time. And so, there are things that just life. So, there were things that happened during that time that we sort of weren't prepared for. So then coming into his senior year, and as things started to open up and we were making more decisions about what schools he was applying to and where he would go, Tennessee State, because of you and your husband, Robert Blaylock, we said, let's go for a visit. So him and his best friend, Cole Davis, went on the visit. And so then it was, okay, so how are we going to pay for you to get there? So Aiden's freshman year, he came into the situation. Well, even before that, we looked at, of course, all kinds of financial aid and what all we needed to do. And as a parent, you have to fill out all the necessary paperwork so that your college student can get ready to embark on this journey that is college and the financial obligation and responsibility. I'm very open and upfront with my kids about what that means, because I want to make sure that as a Black parent, I'm giving my child the financial fortitude and awareness of what it is it means, what this investment means, what loans are, and if that's a situation or issue, what scholarships mean and what they cover and pay for. So Ada was interested in the Department of Agriculture. We knew from a funding perspective, just through doing research, that there were federal dollars there that would help Black students that were at HBCUs. And so as a result, we just basically looked into that entire situation. So his freshman year, he actually didn't come into the situation with a scholarship, but there were funds in the department that assisted him during his freshman years when he applied for the scholarship that he has. Now it's a land grant. They were given to several HBCUs, and Tennessee State was one of them. And through, and Aiden did, and I know I was there to support him, but Aiden did this himself. You know what I mean? He was the kind of kid who went out there, filled out the application, wrote all the things, did everything that he was supposed to do, and garnered the GPA to make sure that he was a viable candidate. Lo and behold, he gets it. So his scholarship will cover 3 years of his education at Tennessee State. Then after that, he will work for the USDA, giving them 3 years for the 3 years he spent there. The land grant is in partnership with the HBCU. So as a result, the HBCU covers the room and board, and the land grant covers his tuition and fees. So it's a win-win for everybody. And then they develop a pipeline of individuals that will, continue to work for that federal agency. So they have several departments under that agency, and Aiden can tell you a little bit more about that. But that's basically how his scholarship got scholarshiped.
Nisi, that's so exciting. And I think what I love to hear about your story is the fact that you are a parent that participated. Something that's happening a lot that I hear, especially amongst Black and brown people, oh, my kid is grown, they need to do this on their own. That is certainly not the case. I always talk about college, just like you mentioned, being an investment, and you're not going to let them go out and buy a $50,000 car or $100 and something thousand house. You wouldn't let them do that by themselves. So you've got to understand, you have to help your students. What made you already know to do that?
Again, I've always been very transparent with my kids about my own personal financial situation, and knowing and understanding, having student loans myself, which they are paid off now. Thank you. And having gone to graduate school later in life, I didn't come right out of 4-year university right into grad school. So I don't know, it was just important to me that I gave them that knowledge and that fortitude. So Aiden is a very financially aware person because I'm very transparent with him about the things that are about, finances and money and how that works. So with that being said, I wanted to make sure that as he was getting ready to go to college, not only could he survive, like you give them all the tools for them to be a successful person, but thrive also. And Aiden has really done a really great job of thriving in college and being the best that he can be. You know, he moves in a way that, and he moves money in a way, and he thinks about things in a way that lead to the success of what he's doing there. So it's not just the scholarship, it's also the GPA, but it's also the social interactions and environment that he places himself in, and making sure that he's a well-rounded person. He grew up doing scouting, involved in our church and our community. He's done a lot of things to just fortify himself. Mm-hmm. And so as a result, I wasn't worried about sending him to Nashville because I knew not only could he survive, but he could thrive as an individual.
That's perfect. That's exactly what my next question was moving towards. Actually, two of them. You've mentioned the research, you've mentioned the preparing. When did the light bulb go off for you that, oh, this boy about to go to college? Tell me about what that looked like. It's kind of like you have these children, obviously, and then like 16, 17 years go by, and then it's like, wait a second, it's time for them to go to school. So what was that like for you mentally?
I don't think that it was ever a question as to whether or not he was going to go to college. I think we knew that was the case. I think COVID scared us a little bit because a lot of kids came home, when that in that 2020 year, lots of his friends that had graduated in 2020 were staying at home to do their first year of college and things like that. So it was more of a, okay, what do we do now? Because we don't know if universities and things like that were closing down because of the pandemic and things like that. So that was some of it. But I think it was always, since Aiden was in middle school, we just always talked about college. And because I went to an HBCU, he'd gone to homecoming at Prairie View A&M University with me and seen those things. So and I'm a college educated person, so I knew that I wanted him to go to college. And then when I was doing my graduate work, my kids saw me working and handling the business of that. So, I think that there was no sort of light bulb moment. It was more of this is the natural progression. Now, if Aiden had been the kind of person who wasn't, going to college, I think I would have known that early on. I think I would have seen, okay, this is not the path for him, and we would have figured out something different. But I just always felt like that was the natural progression of what he was going to do.
And, Nisi, we've been extremely blessed because we do have boys, and we have Black boys. And for us to be able to brag about them and their success and the fact that they can do it and they can make it and they can thrive is nothing but a testament to God. So I have to definitely say that, for the two of us who've known each other for 14 years, who in the world would have thought we would have sons graduating from the same college almost at the same time? So I know you are off to go get your nails done, but if you have to go, I understand. But if you can stay for a little bit longer, because we do still want to hear from Aiden. But right now we have a wonderful professor, department chair, amazing person who has agreed in the middle of the TSU homecoming to actually meet with us and to be on College Cast, specifically to talk all about aviation. I saw him, he popped on, then he popped back off. There he is. Dr. Mosley, first and foremost, I'm going to have you introduce yourself because you have about 12,000 letters behind your name, and I don't even know what all of them mean.
Well, thank you for that, Mrs. Blair. I trust all is well on everyone's end, and thank you for this opportunity. I am Ivan Mosley, the department chair for the Department of Applied and Industrial Technologies here at Tennessee State University. We have a degree which is called the Bachelor of Science in Applied and Industrial Technologies with a concentration in two areas. One of those areas is aviation management. The other area is mechatronics. The aviation management, while it's just that concentration, students also have the opportunity to go partner with our partner, which is Harmony Air Incorporated, where they can get a commercial license or a pilot license. On top of that, we also offer scholarship monies. While it is limited, we still offer them some scholarship money because becoming a pilot is expensive. We have applied for several additional grants to increase the scholarships monies. We've also had our dean, which is Dean Lynn Lee, to give us some additional funds for those students that are seeking a pilot license. Right now, we have a total of 85 students in the program, and that being broken down to where it's 45 from my last count, 45 that are concentrating on the aviation management side, and the rest of them are concentrating on the mechatronics side. Now, of that 45, the last count was 25 of those are strictly want to be pilots, whether they are commercial or applied. We have several of them that are also in the Air Force ROTC. We got a couple of them on the mechatronics side that's in the Army ROTC over at Vanderbilt. So that's a little bit about the program, ma'am. And I would like to mention this one point. We are also offering for the first time here in Tennessee, at least at Tennessee State, being an HBCU, where we are bringing on 25 kids with the ages of 16 to 18-year-olds that will be doing a summer camp sponsored by the Air Force, where we're looking, believe it or not, from 16 to 18 to solo, where they can particularly and hopefully and preferably they will be able to get a license during the 3-week program. It's the first for Tennessee State and the HBCU here in Nashville, Tennessee. So we're excited about that. Again, the first of its kind, and we are looking at minorities to increase that pool of pilots because truly there is a shortage.
That's a whole lot you just said that we're going to have to break down step by step. But I want to first and foremost start with the summer program. No, that's exactly what I want you to do.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. No apologies. This is perfect.
Yes, ma'am.
The summer program for you said 16, so that means around 16. Juniors in high school?
Freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. Yes, ma'am. We may end up getting a couple of seniors because they did say they don't want to rule out seniors that are be graduating from high school and going on to college. They wanted to concentrate on all of them. However, with respect to just getting them in the pipeline is what they are most concerned about, especially for minorities.
Now, at some point, I'm going to want, you don't have to do it right now, but at some point, I'm definitely going to want you to put in the chat the information where people will, or the place where people will need to go so that I can make sure that I say it correctly. Because one thing that I really like to do on College Cash, there's so many things we hear about, we read about, we go to, but we don't ever know, okay, I know about this, now what? So I want to make sure I always cover the now what's on the show. Now,
yes, ma'am.
Megatronics, what the heck is that?
Megatronics is the combination of manufacturing, electronics, a little bit of industrial, and some of electrical, where you bring all those aspects together. You form, it's a bond, but the catching part is not only do you look at with respect to electricity, but you look at how mechanical engineering, how manufacturing engineering combine into that one aspect. So you group all of them together. While you don't particularly concentrate on electrical, you give a blend of each one of those areas, but you bring them all together so that their student is one, well-rounded in terms of technology, but even more so important, he or her will have a background in the understanding of the dynamics of electronics, engineering principles, business, and last but certainly not least, liberal arts. So that's why, and here's the challenging part that some of the students are not getting, at least on the applied technology side, you do not have to go through 4 levels of calculus or a differential equation. So you don't have to do not so much the basics, but you at least have to be able to pass calculus 1. If you're on the applied technology side. Now, if you're on the engineering side, you do have to do all of those calculus.
Oh, and that's interesting.
That's the other problem, Ms. Blaylock. The students, The engineers are a little upset with those that are in the technology profession because we don't have to take all those what we call hardcore courses, and we still get their jobs as engineers. So, not trying to rough any feathers, but that's the truth of the matter, ma'am.
Okay, so it kind of, so for those who are definitely interested in engineering and the engineering path, but maybe not, they don't quite want to take all that math.
Yes, ma'am.
Then mechatronics could be the way to go.
Yeah, mechatronics technology. So, we have to put that technology piece on there, because if we just say mechatronics, then it will be engineering just by the concept. So we have to put that technology piece on there. Yes, ma'am.
So now, what does that equate to in regards to, first and foremost? I know you mentioned limited scholarships. So
yes, ma'am.
What does that equate to for the limited scholarships and with some of the partnerships? And then obviously the main goal when we get out of school is to make some money. So those three things.
One, with scholarships, right now it's about, when you look at it for the hours, because we pay almost $200 to $400 per hour for them to get the private license. Private license, not the commercial. Commercial is just a little bit cheaper, but it's only about $40 cheaper because they know they're going to go and work for a company. However, with the private, it's not so much they're going to go work for a company. They like to do the entrepreneurship, which is why we got that business aspect. It's not so much they're going to go work for a company. So while we have limited dollars right now as we speak here in October, by December, with respect to those grants, that will increase. Right now, we give kids anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000. And that $5,000 is more so for a junior or senior. Now, if they're a freshman or sophomore, we break it down to based off of the credit hours and the grade point average. If they are over 2.5, then we look at least 3,000. If they are under 2.5, then we're looking at 1,000 to about 20, no more than 2,500. Because we want them to concentrate on getting those grades together. We understand they want to fly, but we also want you to have the grades. So when we look at, I think you mentioned about the job opportunities.
Right.
So when you look at the job opportunities, well, when companies come in on the career day, I'm glad that the College of Engineering is now having the College of Engineering Career Day, where it just be those companies that's coming and looking at the College of Engineering students. We do have several airline companies that come during the Career Fair Day, but we don't have enough of them coming throughout the year. And when they come, they want the graduates that's getting ready to graduate. Well, all students are not getting ready to graduate, so we have to advertise to get our students on track and make sure, one, those resumes are correct. So now it's that if you go to the career fair, they make sure that your resume is correct, because one, you have to sign up and you have to have a tutorial session. So the department needs to play a better role than what we have played, and making sure our particular students are qualified to even go there. When I say qualified, if you got a 2.5, how are you selling yourself? Are you involved in other activities? Okay, we know you want to get out and work. However, make sure you got the grades and you're involved in other activities on campus. And that's one. Now, two, when you look at the selling pitch for those going out, we just had one young lady that finished about a year ago, who's now with the FAA as a manager in training. It's interesting that when she got hired, we were also looking to get on a grant from the FAA, two-part grant. One part is $500,000, other part is another $500,000, which equals out to $1 million. But that was broken down to the maintenance piece, aviation maintenance, and then aviation management. It was more so on becoming pilots. We did get both grants in there. Now we just got to do what they call, on the Army side, that side of me, that we just got to hurry up and wait. Submit it, and now you just wait. We've also applied to other companies. We were looking at like Department of Transportation, Department of Energy, but we were looking at more so partnering with other schools, especially from the Department of Energy. Well, who will we partner with, why will we partner with them, etc. So we looked at Vanderbilt, which most of those grants, they like to do them on their own. However, the stipulation required that it be an HBCU to partner with one of them. So that was a little eye-opening. To be honest with you, Ms. Blaylock, that was not only eye-opening, that started getting a little personal, because it was an HBCU that had to be the PI and not Vanderbilt or even a large majority school. So that was an eye-opener, ma'am, to say the least.
I can certainly understand that for sure. And you mentioned two letters, PI. What is that?
That's the primary investigator and then the co-PI. And they are the co-PI, whereas Tennessee State is the PI. So.
Oh, okay. Wow. Well, I think that the main thing that we've talked about and what I'm hoping viewers will understand and hear, just because it's something you've never heard of, the Megatronic technology, the fact that we have a summer aviation program that's going to be taking place in Nashville, Tennessee. Having lived in the Tampa Bay area for about 23 years, what I've discovered, and I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes, but Tampa people love Tampa. And a lot of them just don't want to leave. And so I feel as though I really want to help to expose the Tampa Bay area to more things that are available. Is everything perfect when you leave? No. But there's so many more opportunities, and I'd love to talk about the opportunities at Tennessee State and obviously being in Nashville. So I really appreciate your time today. I know that for the aviation piece that's coming up this summer, I want to get real specific on that. What exactly, if somebody's listening right now and they've got a freshman, sophomore, junior in high school, grades, what type of grades do they need to have? And it's so important for my freshmen, whether you're a student, whether you're a parent, don't tank your grades your freshman year in high school. I see a lot of that happening in Tampa as well. So talk to me for a moment about, the type of student that you're looking for this summer program, and the fact that the summer program is paid for, correct?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. It is paid for. We are looking, while it's a 3-week camp, of course, they'll be staying on campus. We're looking at the grades. The Air Force wants at least a 2.7 or higher. Where we at Tennessee State we're looking for a 2.5 or higher. Wow. While we got that gap, while we're coming down to 2.5, we know that all minority kids have a 3.0. I was one of those kids, Miss Blaylock, so I know that background. But we also looking at the kid that's involved in extracurricular activities, whether they in school or whether they in the community. After that, we're looking at what do they do while they're in school. How do they utilize their time? Because this is going to be a 7 to 7 camp.
7 a.m. to 7 p.m.?
Yes, ma'am, because most of the time they're going to be over at Tune Airport. After that, when we come back to the campus, we will have a little break where we will go and do some recreation activities. And then that's the military side. So please forgive me, where they do their evening child, and then we call it lights out. So we got to make sure that they go to sleep, because those guys that's with the partner Harmony Air, that shift that they're doing, the 3 shifts, because it's going to be 3 teams, an A team, a B team, and a C team, which is the Air Force side, and as well as the Army side, military side specifically. Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie they'll be broken down. It'll be maybe an odd number, but we will have them in 3 groups. So that schedule, based off of what they've done in high school, some of them come to us that the Air Force is looking, well, they're not requiring it, but they are looking for those that have already started, trying to get some pilot license, whether they've been through using simulators or they've actually got some air time. So if they have that, that's fine, but we're looking at a beginner.
That's what I was just going to say. I'm like, what in the world? I don't know very many Black kids in Tampa that have any of that.
They're stating there may be some people that's out there, but they want them to at least solo before they leave. Remember, it's 3 weeks. And then one of those weekends, we're looking at some field trips, some museums, etc. So it's not, and then you're looking at that last week where the 3rd week will only be where those that did not get this time for them to solo. So most of the time will be spent on just seeing who we can get up in the air to solo, and then they're back home. Now, they're also looking at those that do not have transportation, where they will pay for them to get to Tennessee State. We just have to pick them up from the airport and get them to campus. So it's like I said, it's the first of its kind. They wanted at least 40 students, and I was like, no, we don't want to open up that one just fast. Let us get used to the first group, because you never know what may 3 weeks. So we I said, no, let's stick with 25, because the school really wanted to try that 40, Miss Blaylock, but I'm like, no, this is our first time. It's with the United States Air Force. Let's do it right.
Well, I think you are doing an absolutely excellent job. Before you go, though, please put in the chat the next steps for people if they've heard about this program, they have
Yes,
a
ma'am.
student with at least a 2.5, and to be able you should have a 2.5. If you don't have a 2.5, and I'm talking to the students out there, you need to go to school tomorrow. Well, Hillsborough County is out of school tomorrow, but you need to go to school and talk to every last one of your teachers and let them know you want to get on a better track to make sure you have better grades. Because a 2.5, I mean, that's minimum. So it's great to hear that there are still programs out there for some students who maybe got a little bit of a rocky start. And then the fact that if you're just going to be willing to leave Tampa Bay and try something different. Dr. Mosley, thank you so very much. I see what it says. It says send recommendations to Ivan Mosley,
Yes, ma'am.
Tennessee State University.
And I'm doing the address and then the city and the zip code and the P.O. box.
Perfect. Well, I know I said I was only going to hold you for 15 minutes because it is homecoming weekend. So we know you're about to go out there and turn up for a minute.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I thank you, ma'am. I'm gonna finish putting this address in, and then I'll see you all a little bit later. But Ms. Blaylock, thank you for this opportunity, ma'am. You didn't have to give me this opportunity, so I'm thankful that you did, ma'am.
Oh, no problem. I appreciate your time for sure. So, well, it looks like we're getting ready to go back into our agricultural program that we were talking about. And then after that, we're going to talk about our Levi Watkins program. So Mr. Aiden, did he? No, I see him. I see him on there. Wavy, come on in. I see his little A. There he is. Hey.
I'm way on the way.
I see you in the car. Let's see. Can I hear you?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfect. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'm sure you heard your mom bragging on you completely.
Sure did.
You sure did. It's good to hear us bragging on you, isn't it?
Yeah.
You still get in trouble sometimes too, though. Let's be real.
You know.
All right. So where are you? I see you riding around.
We're actually on the way to Nissan Stadium right now. We're finna pull up to the tailgate and have a good time. So that's what we're on the way to do right now. We're trying to find some parking because the parking price is very steep out here. So we're trying to find somewhere where we can park.
It's only 1:30. You're already headed out to the football game. That's why they say happy homecoming. A homecoming at Tennessee State University is unlike any homecoming I've ever experienced. I went to Hampton University. I heard your mom give a shout out to Prairie View, but Tennessee State homecoming is off the chain.
Yeah, it's crazy. Traffic everywhere. Can't really move around in your car too much, so trying to take all the back ways around campus, trying to get to places. So it's been kind of difficult, but I mean, it's still cool just to see all the alumni and just like how homecoming bring everybody together. So it's been cool to see.
Oh, that's awesome. So let's talk a little bit more about what you've been doing. Had you, before Tennessee State, had you ever even heard of majoring in agriculture or anything?
Before TSU, not really. It was more of kind of just, I really wanted to go into criminal justice. I wanted to be a lawyer.
Oh, I can't hear you. Lean back up. Lean back up to the phone so I can hear you, or bring the speaker back up. There you go. Yeah, I think so.
So I was just saying that I originally wanted to be a lawyer and be criminal justice, but the agriculture department kind of just came into my eyes as like, okay, I've been around it before, being in Boy Scouts and stuff like that. I was outdoors and stuff like that all the time. And I'm like, I like the business side of, just agriculture, dealing with numbers and economics and stuff like that. I actually found that I'm really, good at, being able to read charts and stuff like that, and just like how the market works. So that kind of really just helped me really have a passion for agriculture. Because when I originally went in, I kind of just went in like, okay, I'm gonna try something new. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, it was, I'm gonna go into agriculture, see how I like it, and then if I don't, then I'll just switch back to criminal justice. But I ended up like developing a passion for agriculture, and then like my mother said, I had ended up getting a scholarship, so that just made it all even better.
What made you have an open mind? I mean, you just decided to just try something totally random.
I think it was a combination of knowing that the agriculture department, just being put on game, that how to take care of the students, and how if you excel in the classroom, then you'll be taken care of. That was the main thing, was really just getting school paid for. But then at the same time, like I said, I developed over time just the passion for agriculture and just what the industry has available and just how I can, the impact it has on the world. So all of that stuff really came just as time went on.
Cool, cool. All right. Well, I know you're riding around and trying to get where you want to go. At some point, I'm also going to want you just to talk a little bit about the classes that you've taken. Uh, how were you prepared coming out of high school for these classes? Were they really, really hard in the beginning? Were they manageable? Take me a little bit through the curriculum.
Well, what I'll say is, for me during high school, I took mainly like accelerated classes, so like your AP classes and the higher tier of just like coursework. So when it came to like stuff like writing essays and doing projects and just doing college level work stuff, I had already been doing it for years at that point. So the transition from high school to college was pretty seamless. And I know it's not like that for everybody, but for me, it was very seamless. I kind of went in being able to basically have everything that I learned in high school, just like the little things to pick up on, translate into, just high school. And so from high school, so like just even I had a teacher in my freshman year. She asked me, did I ever want to minor in English because I did so good on my English papers. And I used to just think that, it's not really nothing too crazy. So I didn't really think that I would minor in writing, but I say the coursework was never really too hard for me. It still isn't too hard. I feel like I do good in classes still. So the transition was pretty easy.
Well, our host, Michelle Blaylock, she had to step away to use the bathroom real quick, but that's really interesting.
It
I
is.
know
It is. I appreciate
me
it.
and you, we go to the same college. So Tennessee State, like, what do you think so far about Tennessee State? Like, how's it been? Because you're a junior now, right? So, like, how your
Yeah.
last 3 years been?
I would say, just being in college, of course, you have your highs and lows. But I think that this year, just me getting out more and being part of more stuff and just my faith being shown more, kind of just opened up, the stuff like the amount of people I know and just things I'm a part of and just always keeping busy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Being in a relationship and stuff like that has been great too. So it's honestly, like I said, it's had its highs and lows, but for the most part, a lot of highs there. I've met, a lot of great people, made a lot of great connections. Seen a lot of crazy things, been a part of a lot of good stuff. So everything's been smooth. I honestly I haven't really ever had a time where I regretted my decision coming to TSU. So everything's been good.
That's good. That's good, definitely. What's some things that you are like looking forward to for your last few years at TSU? Or like what's some things that you like think you could do better,
I would say right now I'm kind of just looking forward to, finishing this year off, trying to be a part of some different organizations and stuff like that. Just basically just really make my mark on campus the last 2 years I'm here. You only get to do college one time, so you want to leave an impact on your university and just have your name etched into something. So really just trying to just leave a legacy at the school and continue to excel in the classroom and then afterwards go into grad school and start my career even further with the USDA.
Man, I'm so proud of you. I don't know what to do. And I know your mom is proud of you as well. Did you get a chance to tell us about that summer internship that they helped you find as well? Because that's the thing, not only, well, I know that you got the scholarship, and so that's paying for school. But then I also know that you need some money this summer.
Oh yeah, for sure. The USDA, I work for NIFA, it's a department within the USDA. And they gave me an opportunity to basically just work in a professional work environment and honestly get a lot of good experience within just like working in a professional work environment and just being around older people who work and stuff like that. So, you know, really just a good way to fill up my resume and give me the experience in a professional work environment. And they compensated me really well. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, no, they compensated you really well because you wouldn't even
Really
tell me how much. But
well.
look, dude, it looks like you got to where you're going. So I don't want to keep you. Happy homecoming. And again, I'm
Of
so,
course.
so proud of you.
I appreciate it. I mean, you and Blaylock know y'all are the reason why I'm at TSU, why I'm doing what I'm doing. Y'all got me. Y'all was a big hand to helping me get to where I am right now. So I thank y'all for real, because y'all really helped change the trajectory of my life. So I appreciate it for real. And
Don't
anytime
make me
y'all
cry, eh? That is wonderful, but all I can do is just praise God, because that's the only way.
right,
My whole thing is that if God has put me in a position to be able to help people, that's really all I want to do, and that's what this show is about. As crazy it may end up being, because I'm not technical at all. I don't even try to act like I am. So I just appreciate y'all being on here with me. There's your mommy. Say bye.
You did a good job.
Appreciate you.
All right, Aiden. See you later. Thanks again. Okay.
Of course.
Are you crying?
Girl, no. All right.
Oh, okay.
No, I was rubbing my
See y'all later.
Have fun. Be safe.
Of course.
Yes, indeedy.
All right, Michelle.
All righty. All right, Nisi. See you later. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
So I see in the chat now, we've only got about 20 more minutes left, but I see that we're able to take calls. So my son is here as well. I'm about to actually put you in the whole chair. If you do want to call in, the phone number is 813-444-9588. And we were able to cover so many different things. I'm gonna just recap and show you my screen quickly. Let's see if I can click the button. Ooh, I did it. I'm happy about that. All right, so the first thing I want to show you is the website that talks about the applied and industrial technologies. That is where you see the career in mechatronics technology, industrial robotics, electronic systems, aviation. Those things fall all under Dr. Mosley's that we just met. They all fall under him. And I'll click right here where you can see him once again. Dr. Ivan Mosley, professor and department chair. Oh, I don't know if he wanted me to give you his phone number, but it's on the website. So 615-963-5378. Feel free to tell him that Money Michelle sent you and that you want to find out more information about the aviation program that is coming to Tennessee State this summer that is being paid for. So Dr. Ivan Mosley, again, I'm on the Tennessee State website. You can actually go to Tennessee State, tnstate.edu, and just put in aviation, or you can actually Google Tennessee State Aviation Program, Tennessee State University. But Dr. Ivan Mosley, he's right here, 615-963-5378. And I'll share his email as well in a little bit. We've also talked extensively with a couple of my buddies. We'll talk more to the department chairs with the College of Agriculture a little bit later on in the year. It is homecoming weekend, so I mainly wanted to, focus on the kids. But I do want you to see, look at the many different areas within the College of Agriculture. One of them being, it actually just was right across the screen there. Oh, my screen just messed up. Well, anyway, we'll get back to that. Joel, fix me here. I don't know what I did. You gotta fix my screen real quick. I'm trying to show. There we go. All right, perfect. So I do want to run through real quick. I think if I click academics here, yes, these are the programs that are offered within agriculture. You have agricultural sciences, you have human sciences, and you'll see that under those different things, this is what Aiden was talking about. There's so many different things under agriculture, from agribusiness, biotechnology, environmental science, all sorts of various things. But right now, he's here. He came. I'm so excited, so happy. Come on over here, Robbie. And come on in here, Joel. I'm gonna probably have to move out. I don't know. Should I back up? Okay, there we go. So these are my babies right here. One of them is my true son. Other one is my adopted son. But in any case, I definitely want to brag on these guys. Joel is here. He is a computer science major on full scholarship. Robbie is here, and he is with the Dr. Levi Watkins program. Robbie, we actually had a caller last week who was trying to decide between the Levi Watkins program or I think it was Hampton University. So first of all, what is the Dr. Levi Watkins program?
So the Dr. Levi Watkins program is technically a 7-year program where Tennessee State has partnered with Meharry Medical College, where students are able to get their undergrad degree in 3 years at Tennessee State, and then they have conditional acceptance into Meharry Medical College. And so basically Tennessee State fast tracks their students on a pre-med track to be able to succeed once they get to Meharry.
And Joel, how have you enjoyed computer science here at Tennessee State?
It's been really nice. They have a ton of opportunities, especially when it comes to bringing in companies and different networking opportunities. And there's even different ways that they kind of teach you and give you the knowledge to be able to network with these companies properly and get their jobs. So they really throw these internships at us, and there's so many different opportunities that really come our way all the time.
I've heard you mention the word networking a couple times. So for both of you, what is it like being here at a HBCU? And do you think you would have had a chance to increase your network as much as you've had at a different, say, PWI or different school?
For me, I would say probably not. Number one, HBCs are smaller, so you end up getting to know more people in a faster time. But also the alumni network here, you won't find at a PWI. So just having these connections and especially seeing the Black excellence in itself will kind of allow you to reach greater heights, rather than if you were at a PWI, you kind of have your own people, especially the alumni network. They really look out for us here. So that's where a lot of these opportunities come from. They're really passing on, just different opportunities from their jobs and things they're doing in their daily lives just to kind of help out where they came from.
And so, Robbie, for the different scholarships that are out there, I want you to talk through how you got here, not only why you picked this particular school and program, but talk to me about just the requirements. Like you had to have some grades, you had to have some high test scores. And so for my younger babies out there watching, or grandmamas or mamas, you got to tell these kids they've got to keep their grades up. You got to get your SAT scores. Do you remember what your requirements were?
So requirements for the program was you had to get a 27 or 28 on the ACT. ACT or SAT score. I'm not sure what the SAT, because I took the ACT, but whatever the equivalent would be for a 28 ACT is what the SAT score would be. And then your grades needed to be, I think you had to have a GPA higher than a 3.5 in high school. And there's like a essay, there's an interview process, and just like you need to show that you've like been working in the medical field or you have an interest in the medical field. So that's mainly the requirements. Now for why I picked the program. So at first, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think I was going to Tennessee State. I wanted to go to Howard, and I wanted to go to the CARS program at Howard. But the difference between the CARS program and the program here is CARS focuses a lot about research with, like, you do technically MD, PhD they want you to do an MD, PhD program after you graduate from Howard. And also it's a 4-year program. So technically in total it would be 12 years before you would finish everything. But here at the Dr. Levi Watkins program, it's more of a 7-year track where they have you 3 years in undergrad, and then it's 4 years at your medical school. And the reason why I picked this was, one, I didn't really see myself going into research that much as I wanted to just go in straight into the medical field and become like an actual doctor. And then two, also, the Dr. Levi Watkins program provides you with conditional acceptance into Meharry Medical College. So being able to have that like backbone or have that option to just go straight to Meharry as long as I get a suitable MCAT score, then that was just like I couldn't really turn that down. So picking Tennessee State was the better option. It's definitely paid off.
And how hard has it been? Because I know, we physics was rough. But so how has it been overall? Because I was asking Aiden about his curriculum. How's your curriculum been?
So this so realistically, since the program is relatively new, there is some things that they're still working out. And they're like we're all learning together. So it has been challenging. Like this summer, we were here all summer taking calculus in May, and then we took physics in June and July. Those were definitely physics was definitely the hardest science class I've ever taken, and the hardest, maybe one of the hardest classes I've taken in general. But the reason why the program is so good is because one, it's small. So it's 20 of us here all summer together, and we're all going through it together. So it's not like we're just here by ourselves trying to figure everything out. And then plus the program directors are there too, working collectively with the teachers that they provide us with to make sure that we pass our classes that we take. So although taking physics this summer was horrible, it paid off because we all ended up passing the class, and we were able to get through physics in just a summer, where normally most college students take that class their sophomore and junior year, and it will be over 2 semesters or a full year, whereas we got it done in 2 months. So
that's why it's the accelerated program. I like the fact that you mentioned you all are all together. You're going through this together. So, Robbie, I really appreciate you spending time with your mom this homecoming.
Yeah.
There's that. The computer died, but we grabbed the phone and we're right here on Zoom once again. So Robbie, he's stretching. Say goodbye to everyone.
Appreciate the time and goodbye. Make sure all y'all do good in school.
That's exactly right. So don't leave me though. All right, Mr. Joel, let's talk to you for a minute. Here, you can just take, okay, well, there we go. We can do that too. Tell me about computer science and some of the challenges that you've been through as far as or really not necessarily challenges, but what's that curriculum been like for you with computer science?
Well, I was actually privileged in Tampa to be able to go to a CSIT program in the previous high school I was in. And that actually kind of set me up for success here in the computer science program. There is a ton of foundation in coding, and they definitely want to kind of reinstate those skills in programming. And we start off with Java, which is a pretty mid-level language. So it takes some learning to do. And there's a couple other ones that usually other institutions would start with. But our chair actually started us here with Java. So that was a fun process. But really, I do have to give credit to my previous school because it kind of set me up for success here. So I haven't struggled as much as I probably would have.
And that's Middleton. This a Tampa Bay audience. So explain to them how going to a magnet school helped to prepare you. And Robbie went to an IB magnet school. So that's another thing for you moms out there. I try to say that, college cash is not just for people going to college. It can start down to middle school. I started talking about preparing for the SAT, which your sister took the BSAT yesterday. I'm so proud of her. But even my middle school families. Okay, Joel, sorry, I didn't mean to take totally over there. But he had to make that decision in 8th grade to go to Middleton. So tell me about that.
Well, if I'm being honest, I never really wanted to go to Middleton. It was more of a forced decision that my dad we were talking about it, and I was mainly gonna go for business. And we looked at the pros and cons, and I ended up going to Middleton to try out, IT, which is what he does. And I'd seen some of the success he had in it, so I was like, I'd try it out. And the curriculum in Middleton is actually built through 4 different years. You do a different subject of computer science or IT every single year in the CSIT program. And the first year, you kind of do hardware, network, and software. Kind of the basics of computers, and you kind of get into that. And the end goal of every single year is to get a certification. So I end up having around 15 certifications, and employers actually pay really, really good money for people who have these certifications. So it was a really good experience to be able to kind of have these certifications that most adults don't have, and they even have to pay for them too. These certifications could range up to $500. But through the 4 years, we were able to explore different fields of computer science and kind of well-verse ourselves in different areas of it. So first year, we kind of had hardware and software. Second year was networking. Third year was cybersecurity. And the last year, we kind of dove into some of the Java that we're learning now in TSU. So it's actually really beneficial to set me up to where I am right now.
That's really good to hear. And I'm pretty sure you've had some good experience over the summer as well, as far as being able to network. And he's headed tonight. He went to the gala last night. Only the old people go to gala. But Joel went to the homecoming gala last night in order to do what you can do to HBCU, which is network and set yourself up for success, not only for your summers, but for your future as well. So, all right, here's the deal. I know I promised that we would always do the step-by-steps. Now, unfortunately, my computer has died, but in the next couple of minutes, let me check my chat. What's going on in the chat? I don't know how to check my chat. Oh, here we go. Okay, we're doing good with the chat. So for the next couple of minutes, I'm just going to freestyle here and make sure I let you know. First thing you need to be doing is talking to your counselor. If you're in high school, or if you're a mom or a dad or somebody, a grandma, auntie, whatever, the first thing that your senior needs to do when they go back to school is make sure their counselor knows they are interested in going to college, whether it's an email, whether it's a phone call, whether they stop by the office. The reason why your counselor has to know is because you're going to have to get your transcript sent to whatever school it is that you're trying to go to. So that's step number one. And once you talk to your counselor, some schools use Naviance, some schools use all sorts of different ways to be able to get your transcript sent to a college. That's why you have to ask your counselor. The next thing I need for you to make sure of is that you can log into your College Board account if you took the SAT, or of course your ACT account if you took the ACT. So you've got to get your transcript sent to a school. You have to get your test scores sent to a school. So those are completely separate from applying to college. When you log into your College Board account, there's this button you need to click on that says send scores. So many students do not know this very important piece of information. You take the test, you do actually have to send it somewhere. And I would advise you to send it before you take the test because it's free. After you take the SAT and then you want to send the score, you have to pay per score. So it's okay if you don't know your test score, send it anyway. If you do bad, take it again. They're going to get the better score. Or even better, they're going to do what's called super score, which is combining the highest scores from the various tests that you've taken. So talk to your counselor to make sure your transcripts are being sent. Go into your College Board account. Make sure that you've actually sent your score to the school you're interested in applying to. Third step we're going to mention is the Common App. And I'm going to do a whole show about the Common App. I know I keep talking about it. We'll go through it extensively. The Common App is an application where you'll be able to fill out one application with all of your basic information, your activities, what your interests are, name, address, school, all that good stuff, your grades. And then you can apply to well over, I forget the count. I think it's maybe 2,000 or 3,000, but it's a ton of different schools that are all members of the Common App. So once you put the school that you're interested in applying to into what's called My Dashboard, on your you'll go to College Search, enter the school, put in your dashboard. Then there's drop-down boxes for each school that you're going to go through and finish your activities and your questions. So it's not as hard as I'm explaining. It's easier to do had I had it on my computer, but it died. So just make sure you go to the Common App, add the schools, and then answer the questions from each of the schools. So it's two parts. That's the main thing I want you to know about the Common App. You have the Common App, you put in all the information for the Common App part, then you add the school, and then you're going to answer a few more questions from the schools that you're applying to. So we've got three things. Counselor needs your transcript. College Board, you need to send your SAT score. Common App, you need to go in and actually do all of the sections within the Common App before you send off the opportunity to be able to apply to the different schools. Now, I can't hear my producer, Mr. Bezel, but I am assuming from the time, it looks like it's 1:59. I think I'm going to go ahead and sign off and say that I've certainly enjoyed talking with you today. I appreciate you spending time with Money Michelle right here on College Cash. Remember, College Cash is a podcast for keeping cash in your pocket during your educational path. And I'm Money Michelle. Hopefully I've navigated you to a few nuggets that are worth thousands of dollars. Toodaloo! See you next week.
Every time. When I'm around you, when I'm around you, I've been waiting for the perfect opportunity to talk to you.